and walk right by them and go, I want nothing to do with that. And most of it's pain because I've lost three giant record collections since I was a kid that were stolen from me in three different times in my life. And, I'm kind of done. I had bought a 8-track stereo at a storage auction. There was only a few items in the auction thing, and I bought it for like $5, the whole unit. And everybody's like, "Why did you even buy that?" I said, "Because I wanted the 8-track stereo, man." And I love 8 tracks. They are awesome. But anyway, that's another vlog. Thank you for the thumbs up. So anyway, I thought, well, this ought to be amazing if I can get two for $1 record albums. The sell-through is real good on record albums. I mean, so good that I listed two a few weeks ago. Hey, Roxanne, what's up? I listed two a few weeks ago and sold them in less than 24 hours like fire. And I didn't think they were that great albums, honestly. But then again, a lot of the stuff that's real popular right now is stuff I do not like. So it's not hard to sell it if you don't care for it. Otherwise, a lot of stuff becomes like your children. You don't want to sell it, but for premium price. And the problem is you got to pay to store it. So the whole idea is to sell the darn stuff, get the money, and invest in better things if you need to invest. I don't need to be buying anything because I've got plenty that needs to be sold. But I do enjoy stuff that has an ultimately fast sell through rate. I only had a handful of records from an old storage auction, and I listed those, and uh, I had two that sold just immediately. Like I said before, in less than 24 hours. And I'm like, what the heck? And one was We Are the World. Like, how many times are you going to play that sucker? One time in your life, probably, or maybe once a year. And yeah, there's a big story behind it. It took a lot to create that with like 200 entertainers or some darn thing. And it has a huge story. And this record actually came with all the bits. It had all the inserts. It had the thing to order the T-shirt. It had a catalog in it to order more stuff from the company that put out the record, and all the original stuff that came in the packaging, which was amazing because that also ups the value for like a collector. I mean, although it was open, the record was like brand new, and it had all the original stuff inside of the cover that I pulled out. I'm like, what is all this stuff? I'm hoping to look for hundreds, somebody's hiding their $100 bills in old records, right? And then they get donated. Um, and so, anyway, I could not believe, you got to research. Like, I mean, when I was a kid, we used to go to Warehouse Records, and I used to buy all the stuff that was on sale because I just didn't have 20, 25, $30 to buy the newest album on the block. I mean, I had bought a record for a guy that I had a crush on that I thought was going to be my boyfriend. And, he was like, if you really like me, you'll get me this, new Pink Floyd album. And so, like, I'm like getting the money together, working, detailing cars, working for my dad and stuff. And I go buy this record, it's like $35. And go to give it to him the next time I see him. And I just was so excited. And it was like he was in love with the record, but not me. Um, so bad investment, right? Um, anyway, I used to go to Warehouse Records and buy the 99-cent sale stuff. I had tons of it all the time, and I would look at it, look at the cover, and I'd read the names of the songs, and say, well, this is probably pretty good, And so that's how I started my record collection. And then a friend of mine's brother, and uh, he said, next time I go to Europe, I'm going to bring you a surprise bag. And I said, okay. And he was probably about 35 there. I was just a little kid. When he came back, he brought me this record, and I always treasure everything anybody gives me. And so the record was a record that you can only buy in Europe. And so when I played it, man, it was awesome, dude. And I was like so grateful. That was the neatest thing. It's like I had this one record that you can't get in the United States. It was from Europe, and it was really good. And so, I've always liked a variety of music, but I never was into the stoner stuff. The stuff where you had those friends that like to sit around smoking weed or taking serious drugs like pills and things, and you wondered how they got along in life. Uh, uh, and all they ever ate was like potato chips and slobbered. It was like, that's not life. You know what I mean? I kind of liked happy or neat stuff or sambas. You know, um, I had a friend in school. She was into Alice Cooper. Turned me on to Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper was kind of a weird, morbid uh, music about the dead and stuff. It was kind of weird. But there was a couple songs I kind of dug. Um, and in great respect to Alice Cooper, who's still alive today. And then, I had a good friend of mine. She was into Elvis all the time, and I used to stay over at her house a lot. My friend Pamela Creech, and she would play that freaking Elvis all night long on the stereo. I, while we were trying to sleep all night long, we went to bed with freaking Elvis, and I hated Elvis. I've always hated Elvis because I just couldn't stand it, you know, because of that. Um, and so when people go, "Oh man, you don't like Elvis," I'm like, no. Um, but anyway, so all the heavy stoner music. When I learned how to play guitar, I guess I was about 14, 15, something like that. And the first thing people say, "Oh, you have a guitar? Can you play Stairway to Heaven? Um, can you play, Purple Haze?" Because you were supposed to be so cool, and you were supposed to be able to play crap like that. It's sort of like learning how to play piano, and if you can't play the Entertainer, you're a failure, right? But I was like, no, I don't play Stairway to Heaven, and no, I don't play Purple Haze. I was doing like jazz and samba and stuff. I was even writing songs. I was privileged because I grew up in California and was always near the water, and I could take my guitar and all my stuff down to the beach and sit on the sand and play guitar right there with nature, and it's really great for writing songs, and you know it was just really nice. um but I never was into all that headbanger stoner music. um and guess what sells really well on the internet? In record albums. I laugh about record albums because I can't believe that like they're back in style. It's hilarious. Do I still play today? Well, yeah, I got my guitar right over here. I did a couple YouTube vlogs with some guitar in it. I only have two guitars left. All my other ones were stolen in the other storages. And man, I had a really nice Alvarez I had bought at an auction, and a few others. And then I was going to teach my youngest daughter how to play guitar, and I was in search of another guitar for her after those were stolen, so I could at least teach her, because I learned from two of the best in the business, Bud DeShiel and Lori Barth. And Bud DeShiel was very famous. He was in a duo thing. It was Bud and Travis, way, 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 way back. And this guy was about the most obnoxious cat. He died several years ago of cancer. But this guy, and I used to go every week on Thursday to learn guitar for like $10 a lesson, something like that, $7 or $10 a lesson, till it ended up being about $20 a lesson in the end. And then I used to teach guitar. When I got really good, I started teaching guitar, and I got some gigs with some classmates. Their parents would pay me to come over and teach, but A lot of them won't stay with it. They'll get like 5 or 10 lessons and then they don't care. They'd rather be running the streets, partying, whatever. They just really didn't take it up. That's something you have to stay with. And that's how you develop it. I mean, at one point, I used to play like 8 total hours a day, every day. And that's how I got good because I wasn't going to let it defeat me. I'm one of those that I don't care about doing simple stuff. I I get bored because I can conquer it so easily. I'm engineer style where I like to, battle it out. It has to be puzzle solving and constantly puzzle solving, kind of like eBay. eBay today is nuts compared to years ago. But anyway, so I had gone to this store and I thought, yeah, see it to believe it. If these records are really 50 cents and and um, I just don't have any liquid cash right now to fool around. And so, and I really don't like to buy anything because I've got tons to list and lots more to go through in the storages to get it in the listing storage. It just takes forever to list stuff. But anyway, so I list every day. Um, and then I'm getting ready to start a new job. Most all my paperwork's done now and processed. I'm just waiting on start date, which could be anytime. It could be this evening. It could be Monday. It could be as late as the 14th. Um, and eBay's kind of slow the last 7 days. I had some banging sales before that, but all I did was like pay the bills, like paying storages and stuff, and that but anyway, so I went over there and had like my little $8 in my hand. That I said I'll take this little tiny bit and risk it in hopes that I can find something good. But I wanted to research it. I knew what I would be looking for would be all that like headbanger crap stuff that's like Def Leppard, Led Zeppelin, all that kind of stuff that I don't even like. And it sells really well. Anything with the graphics on the front, all that sells real well right now. And for really good money, used, you can't believe it. It's hilarious. I'm like, who buys a record album for $100 that's used? They're doing it. Um, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So anyway, the packing is the worst part because I don't have the stuff to pack them properly with, so I have to like create my own. And I want them to be there all in one piece, especially if you sell them for $100. You don't want that sucker damaged on the way, dude. Let me tell you. Oh my god! So I'm busy cutting up boxes and fooling around. But anyway, so I went in the store and held my breath. I said, sure as heck I'm gonna go in this sucker and they're gonna talk some poop. And there won't be any 50-cent record albums. Because this person sent me a text message and said, yeah, 50-cent albums and 45s. And I'm like, they're probably meaning the 45s or 50 cents. Now I got a whole box of 45s, like a whole jukebox full box. It looks like I got out of a storage auction. Like a while back, and I haven't even had the time to go through it or fool with it. Um, and I'm just leery of wasting a lot of research time on it because it takes time to research every single item you list, and the market changes like the stock market and the retail used eBay style market. It changes every day. So it takes so much time to research before you even list and photograph.